Hell nah, I ain't sleep today, but I'ma be okay. Miss my family on the east, but fuck it, I can't.
What is up, YouTube? ZukiM1 here, and I am back with a brand new YouTube video. Today I am bringing you guys another League of Legends video with me playing with Azir in the mid lane versus Morgana. So in this matchup, it was, boy, I'm gonna let you guys know right now that this matchup is a very difficult one. I haven't faced a Morgana mid since like season 4, and so me going against her, I already know what the lane is going to look like. It's going to be really boring. So essentially what Morgana wants to do in this lane against me is just shove the wave, right? Because otherwise she doesn't really have any tools to really fight against Azir. So she's not going to be trying to fight against me at all, right? So what she's going to be attempting to do in the lane against me is just basically shove the wave with her W, and then with that being with that shoving the wave, I really can't compete against that, right? Because I can only summon a soldier to auto attack from me. So she just shoved the wave in on me, and now I'm going to be losing out on CS because of that. And that's going to make her get an early lead on me in terms of experience and gold, right? Because she's shoving the wave, she's doing damage to my turret and things like that. So I'm not really able to counter push her, basically, right? Because in most of my other videos, if you guys notice, I shoved the wave quite a bit, forcing them to lose out on experience, forcing them to lose out on gold, forcing them to lose out on creeps and things like that. But this is the exact opposite, right? Like, she's able to force me to have to constantly keep moving, so that means that I might miss the chance to auto attack that minion that is right there from being able to get killed. So right there, right, because her W was right in the center of the minions, I had to basically position myself to not stand on top of it. And also I'm trying to mitigate the damage that I'm taking from that, while also trying to avoid her Q and minion aggro. So it's a lot of things that I'm trying to avoid, right? And trying not to, you know, fall behind the lane, but at the same time, her constant shoving with the W is really preventing me from being able to do too much impact in this game. So it's really tricky, right? It's like going against a Heimerdinger when you know, he's allowed to set up a lot of his turrets. When he sets up a lot of his turrets, he's able to shove the wave and really prevent the other laner from being able to get a chance to really try to fight against it, unless you're really good at being able to destroy his minions. Unlike Heimerdinger's turrets, right? You can destroy those. You cannot destroy like Morgana's poison, right? That stays there. So I have to wait until that's up before I'm able to do anything. So I can't fight against that. So I have to basically just respect the lane. Because if I get aggressive, right? If I get aggressive and go in on her, she has a black shield to reduce any damage that I'm doing to her. Then she can Q and then put the little poison trap under me and ignite, because she does have ignite, and basically go for a kill. So right here, she did get a chance to roam, right? Now, because she's shoving the wave, I'm forced to have to fight against the minions and try to stay above float, right? Because she has a really strong lead over me right now. So she was able to get a good roam on my top laner, who was in the enemy jungle trying to catch the enemy jungler out of position. And because he was catching the person out of position, he was, of course, himself out of position. And so she caught him with the jungler and the top laner, and she was able to pick up the kill right there. So right now the score is 2-0, and it's not looking too well for the team right now. My Jace has died, and my bot laner died to the Jinx earlier for first blood. So the laning phase right now is a little bit rough for me. I'm not able to really establish myself in lane because of Morgana's poison, and I just cannot compete with that. That amount of shoving power is just too much. Like, as you can see, my mana is completely gone, and her ability doesn't cost anywhere near as much as my ability. so I'm not going to be able to counter push in any way, shape, or form. So I just have to leave it now, right? Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the situation. The Jinx is able to pick up another kill on my bot laner right here, and the Warwick is going to pick up the kill on the Heckler. Now, I would have been able to easily kill the Warwick right there if I had mana, but I didn't have any mana because I was using it to shove the lane. So I'm not able to help my jungler right there, and he just gets away without any type of penalty. So right now they're 4-0. And they have a really strong lead on us right now, and it's not looking too good right now. And it's only been like 6 minutes in the game. Welcome to solo queue, guys. So I immediately go back to base and start working on the Morello Malachi. Now I'm rushing this item over the Nauseous Tooth because I really desperately need the mana. So I do wait for me to get enough money to go into debt to be able to get a Sapphire's Crystal. So I had enough to get the Phoenix Codex, but I didn't have enough to get the Sapphire Crystal, so I had to wait a little bit, and then I was able to go into debt to be able to get that item because I did take a future market, which allows you to go into debt to get certain items. Because my CS difference between the Morgana and myself, she would be able to pick up more items ideally, but because I'm allowed to be able to go into debt because of the room that I took, I'm able to get the items that I need right then and there, and then continue to try to stay afloat, right, not fall too far behind. But again, as you can see, she took out all my caster minions, and now the only thing that stands left is my my cannon minion. So easily a couple auto attacks and she's able to take that, but because she only had 1 minion, I was able to do like one little jab at her, and as you guys can see, that was the first jab I was able to do this whole game. Now the Jace was able to pick up a kill in the top lane, and bot lane was also able to pick up a kill. So now we have 2 kills on our side, which isn't making the game look so bleak anymore. There's about a 1,000 gold difference between our team and their team right now, so it's not looking too rough, but it's still not exactly where we need it to be as a team. Bot lane is currently pushing up on them, and I'm still trying to maintain wave to make sure that Morgana doesn't push the minion wave in on me and able to do a lot of damage to my turret right now, because I'm not trying to give up first turret gold. And so that's why I'm trying to compete against that. But again, because she's able to shove the wave, she has a whole bunch of time on her hand, right? So she can go top lane, she can go mid lane, she can go bot lane, and not have to worry about me being able to interfere because I'm not able to focus on her specifically, if that makes sense, right? I have to wonder, like, okay, am I going to be able to mitigate this damage from the turrets getting beat up by minions, right? It is early in the game, so I guess I could have looked at it from that perspective, right? And then made some runes and things like that, but I just didn't. Right there, the Jace was able to pick up a kill on the Garen in the top lane, and the Heckler was able to pick up a double kill on bot lane after Jinx did manage to kill the Silver again. So right now they're having a really good game against our team right now. Again, the Morgana didn't have any minions right there, so I was able to poke her for the second time in lane, which really isn't normally how these types of games go for me in lane. I'm able to do a lot of damage to a person in lane, but I'm just not able to get any closer to the person. So right there, right, I stepped out of position, and the Morgana does ult and catches me with the Q and things of that nature, but she does flashes away to make me miss my soldier aggro, and she does manage to land the Q and then put the poison trap under me, auto attack me a couple times, and I died. Right, so right there is what I was trying to avoid this entire time in lane against her, was to not step out of position, right, and not get caught by her snare, and then take damage from her abilities. Because Morgana's snare is very long. It's 3 seconds, and then 3 seconds in game time is, well, I don't really need to say that. Everybody knows the memes. They know the jokes already, Morgana snares last forever. sitting in that thing, she can literally write an essay before you end up getting out of there, right? So yeah, needless to say, that's what I've been trying to avoid in lane. I wasn't able to. I stepped out of position, and because I stepped out of position, she was able to punish me, and she killed me. So right now, the score is getting a little bit closer now. We have Jace was able to pick up another kill, but then Garen does come back and was able to pick up the kill on Jace. So that brings the score, the team score, to 10-6. The Hecarim is in the enemy jungle, and I do see that, so I'm going to start making my way over there because the Morgana did notice him out of position. Right, so the Hecarim unfortunately did not back off after I had came over to make sure that he can get out of the jungle successfully, and we end up both dying because of that. The Warwick does pick up the kill on me, and then the Jinx picks up the kill on the Hecarim. They tried to pick up the kill on the Rakan, but the Rakan was able to dash away to safety before they were able to catch him with the Thresh Hook. So they are going to be able to pick up the dragon right here because there's no one able to contest the dragon pick right here. So the Sivir is leaving right now, so they're not going to be able to pick up the Sivir, but they will pick up this dragon. And Morgana is able to put a lot of damage on my turret right now. So right now, again, this game is looking really, really, really rough. And she does pick up the first turret right there. Because, again, she did a lot of damage with the minions hitting my tower early on. So I wasn't able to try to stop that, right? Because my soldiers only attack so fast. It's not like how it was before where you can take the attack speed runes and be able to attack faster with your Azir, right? Like, it depends on how you're building your Azir and things like that. I take Arcane Comet because it just works better with its poke. But I mean, if you take precision, you won't be able to proc it. You could take lethal tempo, but I don't really like that on him because I don't start off with AP when I go into the precision tree. And that could really hurt in terms of damage output, and you really desperately need damage early on. Otherwise, your poke doesn't really mean anything to anybody because they'll take it and they'll just be like, oh, okay, well, I took the damage, but it didn't really hurt. Right? So right here, I have a lot of mana. The Morgana is bot currently, and I did notice that, so I'm able to go ahead and push out mid lane. Jace did just score a kill on the Garen because he tried to turret dive him right there. And bot lane is currently safe. They're under tower, so they're not able to push. The Hecarim does see me pushing out mid lane, so he's trying to distract the Warwick and the Morgana, but he does end up bringing the Warwick towards me. So I push him away with my ultimate, and we do pick up the kill right there on him. The Hecarim did use his ult to be able to pick up the kill right there. Now the Morgana does follow up with her Q, her E, and her Q, her E, and her R, and she was able to pick up the kill right there on Hecarim. I wasn't able to punish her because she did get out of range of my abilities. Shorten range on Azir, it really does hurt. It really does. I mean, it's not bad per se, but it's just not where it's not the old Azir basically. So you do feel the range difference and things like that. It's not so bad per se. It's just you really do feel the difference. So I'm not able to pick up the kill right there on the Morgana because she did land the snare and she was healing back up from the poison on the minions. So she basically almost got a brand new health bar. So I just ended up leaving because I didn't want to stay and get killed by the Warwick for staying and trying to push their turret for too long. So I do end up leaving to go finish my Morello Malakon, and I do believe I try to pick up another Phoenix Codex to start building into my Noshers too. Now this item is really necessary still, and I do see a lot of Azir still build it, and there are just as many that do not build it anymore because they don't feel the need to and just go lethal tempo instead. Me personally, I still really like it because I just like being able to not have to worry about all my soldiers, not having 3 soldiers up all the time, because it takes like a 0.5 seconds to summon a soldier, and that 0.5 seconds can really make a big difference, right? Sometimes, so like having 2 soldiers up sometimes and just having them being able to attack can really make a difference in a fight than trying to have all 3 up and then get that attack speed and then put them into the fight. So I don't know. It's just personal interest, things that I like to do personally as an Azir player. So right there, the Hecarim does give me the blue buff, even though I am currently 0-2 right now. So I was a little surprised that he was generous enough to give me that, especially seeing how I'm not having the best time mid lane right now. The team score, as you guys can see up above, is still slewed in the blue team's favor. I do manage to pick up the mid tower right here. And the Warwick and the Morgana does come mid. Now, I know that the Warwick has his ult, so I do move slightly towards the left to be able to juke it. The Morgana does try to dive me here. I allow her to be able to ult me, and then I follow up with my Qs and my soldiers and my E to be able to kill her right there. So that is my first kill of the game so far. I do manage to do a hefty amount of damage to mid turret, because the mid laner is dead. The Warwick did leave, right? Because he did take a lot of damage from me trying to attempt to dive. Now right here, the Hecarim does try to get as much damage as possible on the tower and tank it. I wasn't able to damage the tower because I was trying to clear out the minion wave to make sure that he was able to do damage to it, and the minions wasn't able to do damage to him. I do notice that my turret is about to be destroyed, so I just end up leaving right there. And I think I effectively used the blue buff right there and was able to pick up my first kill of the game so far. So bot lane does get killed again. Jinx does pick up the kill on the Rakan, and she's currently pursuit of Sivir. I believe she does. Yeah, so she does kill the Sivir right there too to get a double kill. So the Jinx is doing really well down in bot lane, and again, this is a really difficult match right now. The gold difference is really stagnant. Like, it's about a 2,000 gold difference, 2 to 3,000 gold difference. Currently top lane, they just ganked top lane and killed the Jace again. I'm telling the Jace that, it's past the laning phase. You need to be able to move around, not be stagnant in your lane and things like that, and just try to group up with the rest of the team and stuff like that. But that sounds super hypercritical, right? Because I'm currently still in mid lane by myself without no allies nearby and things of that nature. But I did make that request to him to be able to do that. So I do continue to push out mid lane only because I see that most of the team has showed up in top lane, and there's still some appearances in bot lane. The only person who wasn't in mid lane was the mid laner. So I was like, well, this is an easy pickup because of how much damage I did to the second tier turret already. So that is the first 2 turrets that we ended up getting for our team. The enemy team, they picked up all our first tier turrets right there. So right now they're coming for the Cloud Drake, right? I do move out the way so that Warwick does jump on the Hecarim instead. They do pick up the kill right there. Now, what I do here is I try to wait for the all the teammates to get on the other, all the enemies to get on the other side. Now, what my Jace did, which was really questionable, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but the Jace flashed over my wall. Instead of switching into his range form, he flashes over the wall to stay in melee form to fight against 3 enemies by himself. Now, if he was, I guess if he understood how my wall worked, he could have just walked through. If he really wanted to just go over there in melee form, he could have walked through the wall instead of flashing. So he could have saved that to save his life, right? But he didn't. Also, I don't know if he understood that, the range form in that particular situation would have been a better option but he just didn't do it. So he flashed over my wall to fight against them and then died through to a 3-man gang. I did manage to pick up the kill right there on the Warwick, making me 2 and 3 right now. But they outnumbered me 2 to 1, and they were able to kill me. So as you guys can see right now, the CS difference between me and Morgana is about 30. It's 32 right now. Well, I just closed it up a little bit, so it's about 27 now. So the Thresh does try to run up and initiate a fight onto me. I push him away and push the Garen away. Now, I didn't want to go immediately into that fight because it's 2 to 1 right there. And then the Warwick did come out of nowhere because I did see him put the blood trail on top of me. So instead of running into this team fight, I do stay and push out the minion wave. Now, I was debating with myself on whether or not if I should have ran over there faster into that team fight instead of waiting for the enemy team to come to fight that out, right? So I do end up flashing away from the Garen to make sure that I don't die. He does drop down with his Q onto my turret, and I just end up pushing out this minion wave. So I think that was a bad call on my part, right? I'm not immune to that. I do make bad calls. I think if I would have went over there earlier to help out my teammates, then that wouldn't have happened. So the Thresh does come up here, and he does stop my recall, right? And then the Garen does try to initiate him. Now, I dash into him to get my shield, and then I activate my barrier to get a second shield. So I had 2 shields on top of me, and I could have killed the Garen right there, but I didn't have enough mana. Once again, another situation where I didn't have enough mana to be able to pick up the kill on the enemy champion that was diving me or initiating a fight onto me. So I do end up leaving right here. They're going to shove out mid lane to try to grab our second tier turret, and the score, as you guys can see up there, it just gets further and further skewed towards the blue team side. So it's not looking too good for us. I just picked up my Noxious Tooth, and I'm starting to pick up I pick up another Phoenix Codex. Now, the reason why I pick up another Phoenix Codex is to basically start building towards my Banshee's Veil, and then to go into my Hourglass. Now, I'd like to get these 2 items particularly because of the simple fact they give me armor, they give me magic resistance, and then I get Banshee's Veil to block spells and and then I have the Hourglass to be able to protect myself for like 3 seconds. Now right here, this was another bad call on my part. I was waiting for our team to come meet up in mid lane, but they don't come towards mid lane. So instead of walking over there earlier to be able to do some damage in the team fight, I waited to see the teammates, and again I cost myself that, and we end up losing another team fight. So again, I will own up to that one, right? That was a bad call on my part. Instead of pushing out the mid wave, I should have started to fight against the enemy team. Now, right here, the blue team does start to fight on the Baron right here. Morgana uses her redemption to be able to heal them. So Morgana is 3 and 3, and I am 4 and 4 at the time. So they're currently trying to get Baron. The Shiver does manage to get over there to ward the Baron to see it. The Hecarim tries to run over to the wall to get it, but he knocked himself up into the air. Now right here, if you guys can see on the map, the Hecarim uses his R to flash to get over the wall, fear everyone, auto attack, smite, and then he steals the Baron buff. So we ended up getting that Baron buff, which was a huge gold advantage in our favor. Now, here's another mistake on my part in this game. So I do manage to save our Rakan right here, and I do manage to put up the wall. Now I should have been able to leave, but I forgot what my soldier placement was, and I cost myself that fight. So that was, as you guys saw, I've made 3 mistakes so far this entire game. My soldier placements was not where it needed to be, and my team fighting decisions wasn't what it was supposed to be. And I cost myself a couple of fights in this game so far. So right now, the score becomes even worse with 34 to 19. They are pushing in, and they do manage to pick up 3 different towers right now. The Hecarim is trying to clear out mid lane to make sure that they can't grab that. The Garen does pick up the second tier top turret. Jinx pick up the second tier bot turret and this the base bot turret. So she picked up 2 turrets right there, and Garen picked up the 1, so that was 3 in total. I do manage to get the kill right there because he did overstay, and my team was able to hit up with the CC that we needed to get a good engage. Now, right here, I am absolutely demanding my team to group up. Like, if we have any shot of being able to try to win this game, it's now, and we need to try to make it as effective as possible while the Jinx is still dead, and while we still have a chance to be able to, you know, try to get some type of flow going towards our way, right? So right here, we do notice that they're grabbing dragons, so we do try to make our way over there. We catch the threats out of position, and we are able to pick up the kill right there. So the Rakan gets an excellent engage on him, and we're able to pick up the kill. Now, we didn't stop in time to be able to get the Warwick from getting the Inferno drag, but the Thresh is dead for 30 seconds. So for about 30 seconds, it's a 4v4, because the Sivir does decide to go bot lane, to go shove out bot lane, to prevent us from losing that inhibitor. So it's a 4v4, but I do have my passive up. So I will be able to get a turret, which would basically, essentially make it a 4v5, because they will have to try to dive us on the tower if they want to start a fight. So right here, the Morgana does indeed dive to try to start a fight. She hourglasses to prevent herself from taking any more damage. They take my turret out, but they don't in turn take any of us out. And I do manage to pick up a quadra kill right here in this big sloppy mess of a fight. I am still alive, by the way. So we were able to pick up the fight right there. The Rakan did prevent me from getting the pentakill, but I was more happy of the fact that we were able to turn that big fight into our favor. Only because the Thresh was dead when he was, and because he was dead when he was, we were able to force them to have to engage in a different way, and we were able to win that fight right there. So right now we grabbed the mid tower, we grabbed the mid inhibitor, and now we're grabbing both of the inhibitor's turrets. So the Rakan is taking the mitigation of the damage right there. The Morgana was looking for me right there with the Q and the stun and the poison trap, but I do manage to juke it just a little bit. I managed to make the Jinx miss her ult and her W, so currently I'm running for my life. We were able to make a big play right there, able to swing the game in our favor. As you guys can see, the gold difference is nowhere. It's like 300 gold difference right now. And right there, I was dancing around the blast cone trying to get it to pop again. So right here, I pick up the blue buff. The same thing that I needed to help me get that first kill and things like that. Transcendence does do amazing things. Right now, I have 45% cooldown reduction. So the 45% cooldown reduction plus the 10% that I'm getting from the Banshee's Veil, Hourglass, and the blue buff, I get, plus the extra additional 5% that I have from the room that I took. All of that adds up into a grand total of, I think, about 649 ability power. And I do have a fully stacked Dark Seal with 10 stacks. And so I don't know how much each stack is worth on the Dark Seal, but it's fully stacked right now from that last team fight. So right here, my team does engage on them because the Morgana wasn't mid lane. So it's a 4v5. And we do manage to pick up 2 of the enemies right there. We do pick up the Warwick right there, so that's 3 people down, and nobody on our team died except the Hecarim to engage the fight, which is a great trade. We end up pushing the Nexus to win the game. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. But this has been Zuki M1, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.